if you've been watching the Supreme Court, what we've seen is first they said that everybody has the right to own a gun in their home. Then last year they said everybody has the right to have a gun on them as they travel throughout this country and wander around outside their home. Since then, anti-Second Amendment efforts have doubled down. Like, I feel like I have less rights now than when they made that decision. And I know many of you, and I live in a free state like Missouri. You know, I couldn't imagine if I lived in California right now. But as we've seen, rightfully so, is there's just been hundreds of smaller cases around this country, many of them federal, that have been quoting this last year's case, the New York Rifle and Pistol Club versus Bruin, and they keep quoting it. And there's one sentence in there from Clarence Thomas that significantly changes everything. This one single sentence that's been quoted time and time again in the hundreds of cases that we've seen over the last year is a game changer. And that simple sentence is, when it applies to the Second Amendment, you have to look at history and what was going on with restrictions in the Second Amendment when it was written in 1791. Well, there weren't any restrictions when it was written in 1791. So therefore, all gun laws are illegal under this Bruin case. And this is the sentence. And every time that's quoted, you know, you can't ban this, you can't ban that, you can't tell that guy he can't carry, you can't tell that woman she can't carry. Every time they're quoting the Bruin case, and most likely they're going to put that sentence in there too, because historical context is almost as important as the law itself. Because when you interpret the law, obviously there's many interpretations of that law. So the historical context is extremely important, because you have to look at, well, what was going on when the law was written? And any sort of restrictions on firearms were very, very, very minimum, if not non-existent at all. And again, I've talked about this in other videos, but the right to bear arms is not the right to bear firearms. The right to bear arms is the right to bear any weapon. Knives, swords, guns. You have the right to bear arms. Not just firearms, but arms. And there's no, there's all sorts of knife restrictions out there. There's all sorts of gun restrictions out there. There's all sorts of ammo restrictions out there. There's all sorts of personal restrictions out there, meaning you can't carry it because you live in the wrong county or you live in the wrong city or the wrong state. And let's pray to God, never the wrong country. But ultimately what we're looking at is this one simple sentence that says you have to compare it to the historical context of when the Second Amendment was written, which was 1791. Well, what bans applied then? There weren't any. So therefore, all gun laws are unconstitutional, according to the Supreme Court, in one single sentence. Any thoughts or insight on that? Definitely put that below. I do want to take a moment and say that most people that watch this channel actually aren't subscribers, according to the numbers. And if you take the moment to be a subscriber, that link is below, it's free. That increases the algorithm and our chance to get these messages out. And we're sharing a lot about the Second Amendment that really, honestly, a lot of people aren't. That link is below. But by far, the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests, and never hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.